I wanted to stay. I felt incredible joy, unity, and peace. It was like a waiting room, a threshold to something beyond. But then I felt an unearthly push against my back. Sudden, undeniable. The light faded, pulling away the same way it had come, and I was thrust back into my broken body. Welcome to Let's Lift the Veil. What lies beyond the veil of death? On February 25, 2021, a young woman faced an unimaginable moment and entered a world of radiant white light. There she encountered voices of love, peace, and a truth that would change her life forever. If you are fascinated by near-death experiences, life after death, and spiritual transformation, stay with us, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to discover more powerful testimonies. On February 25, 2021, around noon, I left my house and walked several miles down the road toward a bridge. My mind was numb, my heart heavy. I had made the decision that my life was no longer worth living. I took off my shoes, sat on the ledge with my knees pulled tightly against my chest, and waited for cars to pass so no one would have to witness what I was about to do. As I leaned forward and let go, a white truck passed, and for a brief moment regret pierced me. I didn't want someone to see me end my life, but it was too late. I fell 100 feet into a shallow creek filled with rocks. The impact shattered my body. My lungs collapsed. My third vertebra was completely destroyed. Bones in my skull broke. My spine cracked in multiple places down to my lower back, and my spleen was damaged. The freezing water wrapped around me, sending my body into hypothermia. Then everything went dark. From that darkness, a small dot of light appeared in the center of my vision. It grew, expanding until it filled everything around me. It wasn't a painful brightness, but a pure and infinite whiteness. I felt my soul being pulled from my body, lifted out from the center of my chest. Suddenly I was no longer flesh, I was simply a soul glowing free. I'm finally free, I thought. In that timeless space I heard voices, clear, familiar, and filled with love. My grandfather, who had passed when I was 12, told me he loved me and that it was not my time to die. Then the voice of my deceased boyfriend reached me. He too told me he loved me, but insisted I could not stay. I didn't see their faces, but their presence surrounded me, not physically but telepathically, wrapping me in a love deeper than I had ever known. I wanted to stay. I felt incredible joy, unity, and peace. It was like a waiting room, a threshold to something beyond. But then I felt an unearthly push against my back. Sudden, undeniable. The light faded, pulling away the same way it had come, and I was thrust back into my broken body. I opened my eyes and found myself standing in the freezing creek, water up to my thighs. It was impossible. My body was too damaged to stand. I knew it was them, my grandfather and my boyfriend, who had lifted me. I screamed and cried, angry to be alive again. My instinct for survival surged, and I dragged myself out of the water, collapsing on the bank. I blacked out again, and when I woke, my right foot was still submerged in the icy creek. Severe nerve damage had set in. I pulled off my heavy, soaked hoodie, shivering in only my bra, sweatpants, and socks. My neck felt wrong, my head drooping uncontrollably. I could barely feel my arms. Still, I forced myself to walk, gripping tree trunks for support, slipping on ice, cutting my hands. I drifted in and out of consciousness but kept moving through the forest. I reached an abandoned playground where my old school had once stood. Somehow I pushed myself up the steep hill to the roadside. A car passed but didn't stop. Exhausted, I found a driveway with a white truck at the bottom. The door was unlocked, and I crawled inside, hoping for warmth. Moments later, a van pulled in and two men approached, shocked by my state. One gave me his jacket, the other called 911. With barely any strength, I whispered, "Call an ambulance, I just jumped from the bridge." Soon the police and paramedics arrived. My consciousness slipped in and out again. When I next opened my eyes, I saw my mother, crying as emergency responders urged me to stay awake. They rushed me to a helicopter, and I spent 32 days in the hospital enduring surgery on my shattered neck. My life behind the veil. This experience reshaped everything I thought I knew. I had wanted to end my life, yet instead I was shown that death is not the end. My grandfather and boyfriend proved to me that love survives beyond the veil. I now know with absolute certainty that souls continue after the body breaks. Before my experience, I had no religious affiliation. That hasn't changed, but my spirituality has deepened. I believe in spirits, in presences we cannot always see. I had already witnessed full-bodied apparitions as a child, and after my NDE, my sensitivity to the spiritual world only grew stronger. I also learned an essential truth. Suicide is not the answer. Life is fragile and short, and each moment matters. This realization shifted my values. I care more deeply for others, and I try to live with love and compassion. Death no longer scares me, because what I experienced was more real than anything I've ever lived on earth. My relationships, however, were affected. My brothers resent me for my attempt. My mother loves me, but we remain distant. I had to retell my experience to countless doctors and therapists. Some friends reacted with shock and sadness, others with amazement. A few told me that my story inspired them to be more loving and positive, and I hold on to that hope. Even today, the memory of that white light and the voices of my loved ones remains vivid, clearer than most of my life's moments. I know without doubt that it was real. I came back broken but alive, forever transformed, and I carry this truth always behind the veil. Thank you for listening to this testimony. This near-death experience reminds us that death is not an end, but a continuation, and that love survives beyond the veil. If this testimony inspired you, help us spread these powerful stories by liking this video, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and sharing it with others. And now we ask you, do you believe in life after death? What do you think happens when we cross the veil? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones. See you soon.